I just get obsessed with these sorts of patterns on your sand. That's that beautiful blue. So it was this sort of colour sand that I used for the work Te Poho Hine Moana. I really find the iron sand, the onepu, is a finer grain than the sandier stuff, and so it really sits on the top surface. It doesn't take many of these to get really heavy when carrying back to the waka.
Kia ora, ko Raukura Turei ahau. He uri tēnei o Taranaki maunga, ngā morehu o Taranaki I tai taurekareka mai I Taranaki ki Tāmaki makaurau nei, a ki raro I te maru o Ngāti Pāwa, me ngaitai ki Tāmaki tauai ki tikapa moana, a ko mupuia te marae e takoto ana. So all of this whenua has been gathered. Generally when I'm with my whānau, I collect it in these quite big chunks. And then I break them into smaller pieces so that they can dry out. When you grind that, it's going to come to a blended version of all these colours. Ka pai! Ka pai! Kia ora! Growing up with Māori education, what we were taught in kura around atua, and of course the predominance at that time was rangi and papa and their many male children. In my early 20s and in my architectural study, I wanted to dive into the PhD of Te Ahu Karamu Charles Royal's whare tapere practice and his incredible research into reviving traditional whare tapere practice, which is the pre-colonial performing arts before the introduction of, say, modern kapahaka. I learnt about the incredible pūrako of Tiniro and Kai, and within that pūrako come hinete iwa iwa and the amazing ranga wahine, which is this ope of atua wahine, all connected to performance and music. I really got to understand and start to unravel the depth of the importance of our atua wahine, and I also learnt about the use of whenua in contemporary practice, and that planted the seed for me many years later when I thought about using whenua in my practice and collecting whenua from tikapa moana connected to where my tupuna are, and then how to bring some of the stories connected to both the moana and early stories of speaking with Te Ahu Karamu around atua wahine.
So it started on this canvas where I used the graphite to mark out, and in this instance I've honed in onto a really close crop of the clavicle throat area. This process where I come back and do layer upon layer allows me to be really rough and really free and leave areas that I might want to come and adjust and blend and be perfect for another time. While painting, actually it's the few times that I can actually stop thinking, because I've got quite a hyperactive brain, and probably the most present.
We would always be on the West Coast as kids growing up and spend birthdays on the beach or walk in the ngahere, and that was just a favourite pastime for us. And so it was when I was thinking about this work, Te Poho Hine Moana, and wanting to honour my kuia, that I thought the only tangible place that I know that she spent her happier times was out at Te Hinga and out on the West Coast.
We've just got to Te Hinga, which is one of the favourite beaches I would come to as a child on Te Taiorehua. It's really nice to come back. All of the onepu that I collect from Te Taiorehua is the whenua of Te Kawera Wāmaki. And so I acknowledge, hey tiki tiki, hey! So I acknowledge that Te Kawera Wāmaki is not my own iwi, but one that I feel very connected to every time I come out to the Waitakere, Te Waonui o Tiriwa.
I had this visual image, and I was thinking about the poho, the chest of Hine Moana, carrying my kuia on her chest. My kuia was this fragrant garland of tāwhiri flowers or blossoms that adorned her bosom as she was carried out to the ocean. The work itself was a crop, a honed-in crop of the poho, of the chest, but in my mind it was just a crop of a much larger work. In one particular corner, I have shown the edge of the shoulder and there's a little bit of untouched onepu in the corner, which is a glimpse into the world beyond the confines of Ranginui above and Papatuanuku below in this tight embrace. That little glimmer of light, that little moment of Ringatoi that one of the brothers noticed as the two tinana kind of moved and allowed a glimmer of light to come through, that speaks of that potential that then urged them to want to know what was beyond. For me was also a recognition of the kōwhiringa, the spiritual realm, the celestial realm. We as tangata have formed from the sacred clays of Papatuanuku, of Kurawaka, which then formed Hineahawone. Within that has asteroid dust, it has parts of the whenua, it has a whole cosmos within it. And so while that onepu glimmers in that little corner, it for me gives reference of that world. The work has almost lent itself as a portal, connecting my whānau to stories of our past that we have not yet found the appropriate place to really share, especially around our kuia. So when she was hanging in object space, I invited some members of my whānau, especially wahine, to come, and we sat together and we shared kōrero about her, and these were kōrero that I was hearing for the first time. And then it urged us as a whānau to actually go and sit with Nana Dorothy where she lays at Waikumete, to be together with the intention of honouring our kuia who hadn't had that time to be properly acknowledged, and find ways to let go of heaviness that doesn't need to be carried. When working with whenua as a Māori artist, there's always this underlying thought that a tangata whenua who doesn't actually have any land where my tupuna were can be quite challenging when thinking about where is your tūranga waiwai and where are you from if that hasn't been a given always growing up. Once I had children, there was this innate sense that I wanted them to be very aware of who they are, their position as wahine Māori. And so working with whenua is almost this empowering notion of one handful at a time, one spoonful at a time, you can really connect with the place that is yours.
Mahi